Future Trading, I'd like to welcome you to the channel. I know on, what was that, 3 days ago, the institutional trading, I had this indicator particularly in that video. And again, I outlined that chart and the support had died off really bad there. But I'm going to show it to you on a 5-second chart. Maybe that may get the support, all right? Most view videos here, live threshold, how far the candle pulled back, the price action trend, you just need to be able to count to 10. The price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. Chart scale, I teach you how to read your bezel so you don't have to look left. So I put this out yesterday, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. I knew this price long before 7 o'clock, but social media here, went on and put it there. We need to get support above here or the price will rotate back a bit. All right, so it'll probably go back a little bit. And of course, we're going to take a look at this. I'm not going to show you the climax because I put that climax video out there. So those that had watched it and you're wondering where it's going, I took it away because it only had 2 likes on it and 30 some views. I can't do that. So I'm not going to show you guys the climax. All right. Here's that same price level. Same price level. Again, I knew about this price long before yesterday at 7 o'clock. Just like I told you guys, they're sitting up here. I don't know why it does this. They're sitting up here at this. Let's get this price for you again so you can know. They're sitting up there at that 30,005, and I told you if they're going to hold this market up, where is that price at? Okay, it's down here. I told you they won't get past here. We're going to take a look at this stuff really quickly here, and hopefully, again, I know it's the holiday today, but hopefully, all right, they never made it down here. And again, I put this here when we were here. All right, and I told you no close back beneath that 28,460, 175, and they're back up, all right, through the high. And I told you they would need to do that, otherwise they would spend the rest of the month below this high. And so they managed to turn it around. These are all our reaction zones where the market had went up. And if you've been following me for the past 2 weeks, you would have known ever since they turned the corner up here, that's that signal, and they tested it and they moved down. All right, and that signal was down here. They tested it and then they went up. All right, now here they had a problem on last night when they pushed down. When they pushed down, they fell into this signal here. Remember, you don't want them to close under this bar, and that's that push X indicator. All right, that's the push X indicator. I've been covering it for 2 weeks. One indicator. All right, and again, it's a single bar plot, or occasionally sometimes it can be a 2-bar plot, but primarily it's a single bar plot. All right, so hindsight, I'm not doing that. Go back to the video on the 10th. I told you guys that this market could turn from this price. All right, and it turned. All right, and again, last night, again, 7 o'clock, and it's of course going on almost 12 o'clock now. So I'm ahead of the candlesticks. I absolutely am ahead of these candlesticks. So I want you to kind of keep that in mind when looking at this information here. So now what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at the benchmark indicator, but on a 5-second chart. Again, I didn't really see that support on that video, all right, based on this indication. All right, we've been looking at the push. So that's them getting trapped at the high. Now here's that price, that 229,968.75. All right, so 930 was over here. So we're at 930 down in this turn, 930, give or take. All right, they're driving down. You can see them off this high. They were trapping the green. They're still down. You need them to trap the red. They came in here off this bottom. All right, so that's them trying to hold that bottom. All right, so it came in off that bottom. They trapped that red in there and they pushed up. Lean over, trap more red, pushed up, but you're not breaking this high. And so then they came down, nasty business, trapped that green in there. Got down here and danced just a little bit, and then they came back and trapped that red here, and then they skated to the upside. All right, and again, single bar plot. This particular indicator is more so geared towards validating pivots. Sure, you can get behind it. You can get behind it if you want, but I know that's not really the intended goal with this. All right, that's not the intended goal. You can absolutely do it, because most of the time, once they knock that green out, they won't trade back in front of that bar. They just won't. Just like here, they can reach back. You just don't want them back in the front of. See, like here, when they reach back down, you don't want them back in front of that bar. So when they took off here to the upside and they leaned over, chances is that they won't get back in front of that red bar. Okay, and then boom, it takes off. And so that's them trapping them up at the high. All right. And then, of course, here they ran it down. You can see it there. Once they trap that green, if they're going to trap that green, they're not going to get back in front of it. Here, same thing. They reached up in front of that green bar, but not trading in front of it. Same thing here. Once they trade right up to that green bar's high, turned around and took off again. So then they turned the corner, and here's what you got. They came down to that red, and you can see that response. All right, and then they trap, of course, that red down in there. You can see them reach down towards it. Boom, there's that big spike. All right, and so that's that indication there. Now, let me read this to you just for a bit. I don't want to keep you long. Again, if you don't mind supporting the information, then please do so. But if not, I totally understand. All right, so here we go. The simplest thing that I'm teaching on this channel, and it's real simple. All right, real simple. You got to find the bar that's moving up and down, the live candle, the one that's trading right now. If the mid of that candle can exceed the bar's high, or vice versa, if it can exceed the bar's low, it's telling you what it's willing to do. That's majority. So in the instance of it going down, we're looking for this. So let's do this one. It's suggesting that it can go this far. That's what it's suggesting. Will it work all the time? No. But that's what you're looking for. Now, if you can't get this to show up, the very next thing I'm going to need you to do is find this. You want to find a wick, a big wick, or a little wick, right? Big wick, little wick scenario. If you're unable to find that information, the next thing I'm going to want you to find is a little body with a body that can fit in there twice. So you want this body into this bar twice. It may not have this going on when that happens. All right, it may not be that, but you want that as well. All right, so if you can get all three, fantastic. I want to go ahead and tell you that. So if you can get all three of those things to show up, that'll be just wonderful. All right, so now before you get to any of this, I want to say this because some of you may have a hard time with just one bar, trying to enter the market off of one bar. If you can get a bar, okay, now every bar has a threshold on it. I just don't have it on the chart. I'll put it up there next time. There's a threshold to every bar, and it's just outside the middle of the bar. Let's make it simple. It's just outside the middle of the bar, slightly. All right, it's some math to it, but just a little bit outside of that midpoint. Typically, what will happen, price will come into the bar, and then it will leave it, all right? If it goes too far, so if price comes into the bar, it needs to leave it. If it goes too far, it'll run the stop on the bar. So I want you to kind of just get an understanding about one bar first. You don't want them to go too far into your bar, otherwise they'll run the stop. Now, if these three scenarios are unavailable to you, which I'm pretty certain they should be there, but should they not show up, just like what they're doing here, if you get four bodies, and typically it can be four or more, okay, showing up into that prior candle there, all right, this prior candle here, this can last for a bit. Now it's a way to trade this. It's a way to trade it, but I just want to let you know, if you see, let's say bar 3 showing up, so this one right here, if you see this one right here, it can last for 4 more bars. So try to be patient with the market. All right, just try to be patient because sometimes it does that. Now, if you're new, I want to say this to you. If you're new, if you're able to master the 1 bar candle, the 1 bar, knowing how far it should trade into your bar before it needs to resume, it needs to get on its way. If you can master that, this will become easy. All right, and then you just attach this to it. This stuff can get you into it in real time. You see a big wick, little wick, yeah, go ahead and jump it. It should eventually produce this or either this. It's kind of an easy way of going about it. Remember that little teeny green bar, they're behind the midpoint of it, so that sucks, and of course they're running the back of the bar. You don't want them to go too far because that'll create a problem. All right, so the next thing you'll want to do, once you master all of that, I want you to find your trend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's 7. Now, if it's going to go down, it can't be both. All right, it can't be both. I want to go ahead and tell you that. Get the absolute high of all of it. All right, and just go down to here. All right, if it's going to go down, it's suggesting. Now, this is the market suggesting that it can get this far. It may lift up. That's fine. You can go with that if you want, but most of the time they'll make that distance. All right, now again, you're listening to the market. All right, if it's telling you how far it's going to go, you're going to listen to it. You're listening to, not me, you're listening to the market, how far it's telling you that it's willing to go, that's what you're going to go for. Even here, if you're mastering the 1 bar, the 1 bar setup here, You're listening to the market as to how far it's willing to go. All right, don't kid yourself. That's all this is. It's not complicated. Now, when it comes to your chart, if you want to know when it's going to turn, all right, because again, I can tell you how far, price can travel. I can tell you that it's not as complicated as one may think. All right, get your bezel, right? Center of the chart, lower half of the chart. They're pretty much sitting here now. Lower half of the chart, and then your upper half of the chart. Now, I'm estimating this, all right? It's not perfect. You say, what is your bezel? I'm going to tell you this right now. This is your bezel, your hard right edge. You don't have to look left. That hard right edge is your bezel. Whatever is showing up here on the hard right edge will inevitably land on the left side of your chart. So you need to be able to feed yourself the information that's on that hard right edge so you can succeed at it. All right. Try not to look left all the time. You can. You're more than welcome to do so. Once you master this, just a simple part of the right side of the chart, it's not as hard. The stuff to the left is a little harder. And that's just in my opinion. The stuff on the left-hand side of the chart is a little more difficult to interpret than the stuff that's on the hard right edge, but I've been doing this for quite a long time. So you got your center of your chart here, and again, I'm going estimation. Center of your chart, upper part of your chart, lower part of your chart. They're still down, respectfully, as long as they can remain down here without making an uptrend. Now, one would say here's an uptrend here, and it is. Will they break it? I don't know. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They all have to close higher. All right. The market is like you and I. Whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind. Let me make sure these lows are right. So let me get this low here. Low 10, low 10. Okay, perfect. It went that far. It stalled out for a bit and then it went that far. All right. So you got, okay, we're getting it. So this should turn red. That's the big wick, little wick. This body can fit in there twice. Okay, the midpoint of this bar is beneath this low, so we will listen to the market. Okay, let's listen to it. It's not hindsight. It's not hindsight. All right, and it's saying that it will get this far. Let's just go to the close. Wherever it closes at, that's what we're expecting. It's still at the lower half of the chart. Still at the lower half of the chart. We're going to listen to the market. That's what we're going to do. So while we're listening, all right, let me do this. Let me see, can I go get our 5-second chart? Let's just take a look. Yeah, our 5-second chart, okay, they're still breaking green. So we haven't broke above red yet. They put a little bit of red in here, but they didn't get back above that pivot. All right, so that's what that's looking like. Now let's go back to our scenario. Let me just move this out the way. Volume benchmark, all right, the volume benchmark institution bar color. All right, you can put it on your 5-second chart. If you already have the DTT suite, $100, one indicator. All right, one indicator change your timing when it comes to this 1-minute chart. And again, it was on that high right at that price. So this area right here, we're going to look at it real quick while they're doing that. Let's look at it real quick. So that area right there, okay, this area right here at that price line, that's this. All right, so we're right there. So when they broke this green bar right here and blew past it, that volume benchmark indicator, all right, institution, all right, I'm letting you know what they're doing. $100. I'm giving away over 300 indicators for $100. You don't have to go and spend $300-400 for one. Absolutely nonsense. You get everything that you're seeing in this video and every other video I've shot on the channel for $100. And the education is what will let you know about prices that's outside of the market, how long it can last. Remember, I put this price out there yesterday at 7:00 p.m. It's going on 12 o'clock. Keep that in mind. Education does that. You're more than welcome to be on the playlist if you would like to. You don't have to. Again, I think all the stuff on the channel that's free will absolutely get you where you want to go. Absolutely. Remember this. This is how long it can last if they decide to overlap the midpoint of the bars. The midpoint of the bar, if it falls into the prior, you're potentially in a situation that's unfavorable, and they can absolutely stall you out for 4 bars or more. See, like here, see? 4 bars or more. They can stall you out. Stall you out. They did it again here. I think this one closed right at that low. Now they managed to get outside. Great. So you're looking for bar 4 to get out of there. That's what you really want. Just a way of timing the market. Very simple. It's not complicated. Well, if they come back and knock this out, that's okay. They didn't get, well, they got halfway. That's pretty good. They're suggesting that they're going to go past this. That's what they're suggesting. That's what they're suggesting. If they can get past here, so be it. They got a little bit of room. They can do that. If they wanted to hold this trend down here, all right, so let's go to the center of our trend, because this is the center of our trend. For the upside, all right, this is the center of our trend. The market's like you and I. Whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind, all right? So if it wants to go higher, it can stop at the center of the trend. This is just a place of deliberation. That's all it is. It's just like up here, okay? When they went down, the center of all of that is roughly where that price is at, all right? So that 99, that 299.6875, it's just a place of deliberation. You got primary and secondary values. You tend to go with the first one that you would like to accomplish. If that don't work, you'll settle for the second. The market can decide at this place. That's all. It can decide whether or not it wants to turn back around or not, just like they did here. They leaned over and they took off. All right, so here you had your 4 down here. 4 or more. I'm trying to help you guys out. 4 or more, all right? It's a way to trade it. Now, if they want to go up, yeah, all of it is in this one too. So all of it is showing up here. All right, same thing they had going on with this scenario here. All of it was here. Okay, all of it was here. Do forget the noise in the background. I'm doing a couple things. All of it was here. All right, so you had your big wick, little wick, small body. You can fit in there twice. You got the mid exceeding. You got the mid exceeding, but it cannot be both. Now, if it's suggesting that it will hold this uptrend, let's say it's suggesting that, it would do this. It would go up higher. It's still beneath the center of the chart. It can turn back around and come back down. It could. It's suggesting that they're going to move it back down. The mid is falling beneath that low. It cannot be both. The threshold, I like the threshold on the bar with the stop, the green bar. So I'm going to just throw a threshold here. I would like to see them respond. If they're going to go back up, I hate that they did that, but if they're going to go back up and honor this pattern, I need you to come right back out of that threshold, get back up here, and let's get this going. If not, they just pulled into this threshold. So let's get our threshold here. I know they did a little bit too much, in my opinion. They did too much to this. I like it on the stop bar, but that was a stop bar as well. So if they're going to do this, now this is one as well. Threshold will be a little smaller on this because the body is like really small here. But we need them to respond here. You can see there's a slight response there. Slight response. Not by much, but there's a response right into that threshold. I like it on the colored bars. That's all. I like it on the color bars. That's all. You can do it with any bar you prefer. Absolutely any bar you prefer. Any bar you prefer. I just want to see, will they run this pattern, or can they get right back beneath this pattern, and then I will go. Just want to give you some information. You need it. It's simple. It's not complicated. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying my best. Let's look at our 5-second chart again. All right, so they're on that bottom. We want them inside of a shoulder, though. We want that red bar inside of a shoulder. That's really, really important. We want it inside of a shoulder. Now, if they're going to stay down, again, they shouldn't wind up back in front of this this green bar. Now they have a green bar coming in here. It cannot be both. Cannot be both. It cannot be both. And this is just one of the indications in the suite. Again, over 300 indicators. You're welcome to absolutely all of it. $100. I'm trying to keep you from spending $300, $400, $500 just for one indicator. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I already done that for you. You don't have to do that. It's complete nonsense. Nonsense to get charged that much and don't know how to read the chart. Reading the chart is the thing you need. Once you read the chart appropriately, I can guarantee you the indicators will make sense. They'll make sense. You'll absolutely put them on the chart and understand why that needs to be happening at that moment. So this makes sense. If they're going to break this low, they were at that threshold. They were at that threshold. This fires off. They break that pivot. Yeah, we can go ahead and get that move all the way down. I just want them to break back past here. Once they do that, I'll absolutely go. We definitely don't want them coming back up here and holding this low and blowing past that red bar. We don't want that. So that may be an opportunity for you guys to possibly add into your position. because you know it should move lower. You don't have to stick around forever. Where is our scenario here? We got our big wick being able to fit in here. We just need that body to fit in there. That's all. See, now once they blow the low, you don't want them back in front of this bar. Now, can they vacuum back up? Sure, they could. If you want to give them a little room, that's up to you. Just don't let them back in front of here, because you'll use your chart scale here doing the same thing as well. See, it didn't give us all of it. I thought they'll give us all of it. Let's see if it actually made that distance though. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's almost there. Again, you will still be waiting to see if they can make it all the way down there. You'll still be waiting. Well, that's my time with you. I have absolutely enjoyed delivering this information. If you would like to be a part of the private community, that's available to you. And if not, you can have the indicator suite. But stay on the channel. Absorb all of this free information. Be certain to do that. Don't come on my playlist, the private playlist. Don't do that. If you cannot practice what I'm showing you here with this free information, I do not want you on that private playlist. All right. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.